Good morning. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Hello, women who soar. Hi. It's nice to see everyone. So, if you're coming in, I'd love to see you. Is my point. Come in. Start your morning with me. Start your morning with gratitude and start your morning with a little bit of business coaching. Morning huddles, that's what they're here for. I Starting your morning with gratitude can change the attitude of your day. So, gratitude equals this positive attitude. And even when we're in the midst of lots of turmoil and angst, when you start your morning with gratitude, there's something really powerful about that. So, I did it in my morning huddles in corporate for years, went around, what are you grateful for? What are you grateful for? And then we went into accountability and we went into how we were going to be accountable to our day and accountable to the responsibilities and the things that we were going to produce that day. And so we get to talk a little bit about that today. Let me make sure I'm live because I'm just like talking into the air. Talking into the air. Yep. All right. So if you're here with me live this morning, please come in and say hello. The topic this morning is being relentless. That has a negative connotation to it. Being relentless has an absolute negative connotation to it. So um, I want to know right now, I want to know when you're coming in here, what do you have to do today that is making you uncomfortable when it comes to your business? So, obviously, if you have a colonoscopy, I don't need to hear that. Or if you have to go to the dentist, okay, so that obviously is going to make you uncomfortable. But what do you have on your agenda today? What are you doing for your business today that is uncomfortable? And I ask you that because those are the moments that we are going to either decide to be relentless and do it anyway, or we're going to cave and say, this is just too uncomfortable. I don't want to do it. And we're going to say things to ourselves, not so good things to ourselves, to talk ourselves out of that uncomfortable thing. So what do you have today that's on your agenda that you're really like, this is uncomfortable, Dora, and I don't want to do it, and I don't like it. So I'm going to talk bad things about myself. So then I don't do it. So a lot of the things that I teach, a lot of the things that I coach, building a business to the level that you want to build the business, is the whole thing is uncomfortable. Choosing to be an entrepreneur is uncomfortable. However, we have so much freedom when we allow ourselves to walk through that uncomfortable. But it's really scary, right? So, the things that I teach that are super uncomfortable are the things that are going to build our businesses. So, how do you how do you get outside of your discomfort? Like, what does that even look like? How do you decide? So, how do you decide to get out of your discomfort? So, that's what being relentless is all about. I talk about it. Um, One of my aha moments around being relentless, and I'll share it with you. Because I thought it was a negative. I thought it was a bad word. Like, relentless meant like overly forced and doing things that were so uncomfortable, and who wants to be relentless? Like, that had a negative connotation. I didn't like it. And so when I was at ROI, which is a big summit that Rachel Rogers put on, she had a number of speakers at this event. It was a business summit. And one of the speakers, her name was Amy Purdy. And if you look Amy Purdy up, you'll see that she is a motivational speaker. And she won the gold. I think she won the gold. Anyway, she's an Olympic medalist, and she doesn't have legs. She lost her legs at the age of 19. And she told her story. That's what she did at the event. And one of the things that she said over and over again was that she was relentless. Um, so many doors were closed in her face, and she still kept going. So it dawned on me during that moment that she was sharing her story, it dawned on me that I had actually been relentless all along, but I just didn't use that word. I didn't use the word relentless. I used a couple of other sentences with my teams, with myself, with my family. And the word that I used, and I've been saying it a lot lately in groups and in one-on-one conversations, so I'll share it with all of you. And the word that I said and keep saying is the word next, meaning that when something closes in my face, I'm hitting the next button, no matter what it may be. So it could be a challenge that I'm faced with building my lead pipeline, and I don't have a big enough lead pipeline, and sales are not happening. And so, or I had, a big sale that decided to cancel out, or, I had a big disappointment. I thought this was going to happen and it didn't. And so I want to tell you to always hit the next button. And hitting the next button also equals being relentless. Do you feel it? Like, do you see it? I felt it. So if you're feeling disappointment, if you're feeling uncomfortable, I want you to be relentless. I want you to consistently be hitting the next button. What is next? What is next? What is next? And don't allow that door being closed or that no to put you down a path of self-deprecation. Also been talking about that a lot with clients. This, like, the moment that I hear the no, or the moment that I don't get it, I start going inside, and none of that is being relentless. None of that is hitting the next button. All of that is just going to get you to not keep going. It's going to keep you still. It's going to keep you like, ugh, this isn't working. When you haven't hit the next button. You're not being relentless. You're not going really through the uncomfortable, walking really through the uncomfortable. In this isn't business related, but in the book Rising Strong, have any of you read that book, Rising Strong? I'm not like, I don't know tons about Brene Brown, but the one book, Rising Strong, is the book that I really like by her. And in that book, it talks about Act Two, going from Act One to Act Two to Act Three, and how that happens all like throughout your life. It's not just one time. But this Act Two is the area that people quit. Act Two is when things get really hard. Act Two is when failure happens. And if you don't go through Act Two, you can't get to Act Three. And so many of us quit at Act Two. And I'm asking you today, looking at what your day looks like, to go through that uncomfortable and to be relentless. If you don't know how, like that whole, like, I don't know how, or what am I missing, then ask me and I'll help you with the how. Strategy is my second name. It's in my pinky fingers. It's everywhere. So if you're like, I'm not sure how, then ask me. And sometimes, most of the time, when we're asking ourselves how, we actually do know, but we don't want to do it. And so we're asking ourselves how to stop us. I'll give you an example of that before we go. I started business coaching, and my very first business coach said to me, okay, how much do you want to make this month? This is how many clients you're going to go get. And I said, I don't know how. I said that, "I don't know how." And she's like, "You absolutely know how. You've been building businesses your whole life. You know exactly how to sell and market and do the organizational charts and the messaging and what to say." And I still said, "I don't know if I know how." And she's like, Yeah, you do know how. Why don't you pull it out of your big, beautiful brain?" So you may know how. You're just telling yourself that you don't know how, so you don't do the uncomfortable. And even if you don't know how, do it anyway. Like Rachel says, be messy. Be messy. I say it too. It's not just Rachel. I say messy action, messy, consistent action. So go and be relentless today. Relentless in a really positive way. And I can't wait to see you all tomorrow. Let me know if this was helpful today. And if you watch the replay, hit hashtag replay so I know you're here. Thanks all. Have a great day.